Good morning, dear students. Last class we studied different types of enthalpies of reaction. That is enthalpies of formation, enthalpies of combustion and enthalpies of neutralization. And also know what is the standard enthalpies of formation and how the standard enthalpies of formation helps to determine the enthalpies of reaction. Now, today here we are going to study some other types of enthalpies of reaction. Okay, so we'll first come to the enthalpies of transition. So the enthalpies of transition means uh, the enthalpy change takes place when one mole of an element changes from one allotropic form to another. For example, if the carbon in diamond form is changes to carbon in graphite form, sulfur in rhombic form, it will change to sulfur in monoclinic form, phosphorus, red, different types of phosphorus at their allotropic form, white phosphorus, red phosphorus, black phosphorus. The enthalpy change for the conversion of 1 mole of white phosphorus to 1 mole of red phosphorus. What is the enthalpy change during this one type of conversion is known as enthalpy of transition. Okay. Change in enthalpy or heat when one mole of an element changes from one allotropic form to another is called enthalpy of transition, represented as del H T. Okay. For example, sulfur in monoclinic form to changes to sulfur in rhombic form. Here del H is minus 0.067 kilojoule mole inverse. Similarly, phosphorus from white phosphorus to convert phosphorus red. This is monoclinic and rhombic. This is white and red phosphorus. And here del H is equal to minus 4.3 kilojoule mole inverse. Similarly, carbon in diamond form is converted to carbon amorphous form, and here del H is equal to plus 13.8 kilojoule mole inverse. So the enthalpy of transition may be positive, may be negative. Remember, the enthalpy of combustion is always negative. The enthalpy of neutralization is always negative. The enthalpy of formation may be positive, may be negative. The enthalpy of transition here also may be positive, may be negative. Okay. Next come to enthalpy of solution. So what is the enthalpy of solution? Enthalpy of solution means the change in enthalpy takes place when one mole of substance dissolved in excess of the solvent. When one mole of substance dissolved in excess of the solvent, so that on further addition of the solvent, no further change in energy takes place. So the change in energy takes place when one mole of the substance undergoes solution in excess of the solvent is known as enthalpy of solution. On further addition, actually there is no change in, or the further addition of solvent, there is no change, no further change in heat enthalpy or heat energy. That is known as the enthalpy of a solution. Look here, this enthalpy of solution is also may be positive, may be negative. Some examples. Suppose NaCl is in solid form plus aqua. If you add some water, then it gives rise to NaCl aqueous solution. In this case, delta is 5 plus 5.35 kilojoule. So plus 5.35 kilojoule. Similarly, when potassium chloride undergoes dissolution in water, it gives rise to KCl, aqueous solution potassium chloride, and here del H is plus 18.56 kilojoule mole inverse. Similarly, copper sulfate CuSO4 anhydrous copper sulfate plus you take excess of water, or you can write aqua, give rise to CuSO4 aqueous solution, and here del H is minus 66.5 kilojoule mole inverse. And another is there CuSO4.5H2O solid plus water, excess of water. So this is excess. It gives rise to CuSO4 aqua, and here del H is 11.7 kilojoule mole inverse. Okay, so look here, in some cases this is positive, in some cases this is negative. So another thing I want to say here that there are some salts which form hydrates, that means they contain water of crystallization, and there are some salts that do not contain hydrates. So there are some that do not form hydrates. So these salts which generally form hydrates like CuSO4, it actually forms hydrate first, CuSO4.5H2O. Similarly, if you take calcium chloride, if you take barium chloride, calcium chloride CaCl2, barium chloride BaCl2, magnesium sulfate MgSO4. So these salts, when they undergo dissolution with water, generally the del H is negative. They produce energy. So these salts which can form hydrates, so it can form CaCl2.6H2O, BaCl2.2H2O, MgSO4.7H2O. So in this way, these salts which can form hydrate, that means which contain some moles of water of crystallization, which can form, generally they have negative value of enthalpies of solution. They have negative value of enthalpies of solution, but which do not form hydrates. Sodium chloride, it do not form hydrate. Potassium chloride do not form hydrate. Similarly, CuSO4.5H2, it is already in hydrate form. It again do not form hydrate. Some water molecule do not contain. So these salts which do not form hydrates are generally, they have positive value of enthalpies of hydration. So enthalpies of solution, they have positive value of enthalpies of dilution, while which form generally which form the hydrates, they are known as, they have negative value of enthalpies of hydration. Okay, next come to another, that is enthalpies of hydration. So here I am telling about the enthalpies of solution. Next, enthalpies of hydration. So what is enthalpies of hydration? Enthalpies of hydration means the enthalpy change takes place when 1 mole of a substance reacts with a specific number of water molecules. 1 mole of a substance reacts with a specific number of water molecules to form its hydrates. That is known as enthalpy of hydration. Okay, so next, enthalpy of hydration. So enthalpy of, what is enthalpy of hydration? Look here, suppose CuSO4 solid, that is in solid form, plus 5H2O, if it absorbs 5 water molecule, then CuSO4.5H2O is there, and del H is equal to minus 78.4 kilojoule mole inverse. In the same way, BaCl2 solid plus 2H2O, it forms VaCl2 dot 2H2O, and here del H is equal to minus 29.4 kilojoule mole inverse. Okay, so anhydrous salt from hydrate enthalpy change is negative, but when this salt dissolves in water, the enthalpy change is negative, and when this salt dissolves in water, this is also in solid form. Okay, so when these salts dissolve in water, the enthalpy change is positive. Okay, so the enthalpy of solution in this case is negative. The enthalpy of solution in this case is positive, but the enthalpy of hydration is here negative. Now I think we are clear what is enthalpy of hydrogen, what is enthalpy of solution, and enthalpy of hydration. Now note down these points. So enthalpies of solution. Enthalpy solution may be defined as the change in enthalpy when one mole of a substance is dissolved in such excess of the solvent at a given temperature so that on further addition of the solvent does not produce any more heat change. So once you added in excess amount so that some energy is changed takes place. And further addition, no energy change takes place. What is the maximum energy change takes place? That is known as the enthalpy of solution when you have taken 1 mole of the substance. Some examples are given. Some have positive, some have negative enthalpies of a solution. So generally, which do not form hydrate salts, generally they have positive value of enthalpies of solution, and which can form hydrate salt, that generally they have negative value of enthalpy of hydration. Negative means that are your endothermic in nature, and positive means that are your endothermic nature, and negative means that are your exothermic nature. Positive means exothermic. So negative means that is your exothermic nature, and positive means that is your endothermic nature. So this is endothermic nature, this is endothermic nature, and this is endothermic nature, but this one is exothermic in nature. For exothermic negative sign, for endothermic positive sign. Okay. Next, enthalpy of hydration. The enthalpy of hydration may be defined as the change in enthalpy when 1 mole of the anhydrous salt changes to a hydrated salt with specific moles of water depending upon its capacity. So CuSO4.5H2O, CuSO4.5H2O solid, del H hydrate, H equal to minus 78.2 kilojoule mole inverse, and VaCl2 plus 2H2O, VaCl plus 2H2O, del H hydration, that is minus 29.4 kilojoule mole inverse. Okay. Next we'll discuss. Next come to enthalpies of phase change. So phase change means generally matter exists in 3 phases: the solid phase, liquid phase, and gaseous phase. Then what is the enthalpy change takes place when a solid is changes to liquid at its melting point. Similarly, what is the enthalpy change takes place when a liquid is converted to gaseous form at its boiling point? That is known as the enthalpy change. So in this way there are 3 different types of enthalpy change: for solid to liquid, for liquid to gas, and directly from solid to gas. Okay, so enthalpy of phase change. So the enthalpy change takes place when one form of substance is changes to another form. So first, enthalpy is of fusion. Represented as del fuse H. So the enthalpy change takes place when 1 mole of a solid is changes to its liquid form at its melting point. So just at its melting point, what is the at 1 mole of solid is changes to its liquid form. What is the enthalpy change? That is known as the enthalpy of fusion. And as for solid changes to liquid form, heat energy is required. In this way, the enthalpy change is always positive. The enthalpy change, the enthalpy of fusion is always positive, or the enthalpy of fusion is always positive. Okay. For example, H2O solid to H2O liquid at 100 degrees Celsius, or we can say 373 Kelvin. So here del H value is equal to plus 6 kilojoule mole inverse. Similarly, suppose you take sodium chloride solid to 1 mole of sodium chloride to 1 mole of sodium chloride at liquid form at its melting point, and here del H is equal to plus 29.0 kilojoule mole inverse. Okay, this is enthalpy of fusion. Next come to enthalpy of fusion. Next come to enthalpy of vaporization. Enthalpy of vaporization means represented as del H. When you read that del H vaporization. So enthalpy of vaporization is the enthalpy change takes place when 1 mole of liquid is converted to its gaseous form at its boiling point. The enthalpy. So here also from liquid to gas, here also it requires energy. So in this way, the enthalpy of vaporization is also always positive. It is always positive and it is also always positive. Okay. So for example, you look at H2O liquid to H2O gas. So here del H value at its boiling point, del H value is 40.6 kilojoule mole inverse. Similarly, another C6H6 liquid benzene at liquid form is converted to benzene at gaseous form, and here at its boiling point is value 30.6 kilojoule mole inverse. Okay. Next, another enthalpy of reaction. Enthalpies of reaction, enthalpy of heat change, that is enthalpy of sublimation. Del H sub. Read as del H sub and then let's write as del sub H. Enthalpy of sublimation. So the enthalpy takes place when 1 mole of solid is directly converted to its gaseous form below its melting point. And below its melting point, 1 mole of solid is directly converted to its gaseous form below its melting point, or before it going to melt. Below its melting point is known as enthalpy of sublimation. And here also some energy is required. In this way, this is also positive. For example, if you take iodine solid plus a solid, suppose it is converted to iodine gas below this melting point, its del H value is equal to 62.4 kilojoule mole inverse. So in this way, it has also positive value. And experimentally, it is found that the enthalpy of sublimation, del H sublimation, is equal to, for any substance, is equal to del H fusion plus del H fusion plus del H vaporization. Del H fusion plus del H vaporization, that is enthalpy of sublimation. So now note down these points. So note down these points. Enthalpy of fusion, it may be defined as the change in enthalpy when 1 mole of solid at melting point changes to the liquid state. Enthalpy of vaporization, it may be defined as the change in enthalpy when 1 mole of liquid at its boiling point changes to the gaseous state. And enthalpy of sublimation, it may be defined as the change in enthalpy when 1 mole of solid changes directly to the gaseous state at a temperature below its melting point. And experimentally it is found that enthalpy of sublimation is equal to enthalpy of fusion plus enthalpy of vaporization. Remember here one thing, if this is solid to liquid, some amount of heat is absorbed. Similarly, in this if it is converted from liquid to solid, then the same amount of heat is produced. Similarly, NaCl solid to NaCl solid, liquid to NaCl solid, when it changes, then 29 kilojoule of heat is produced. Okay, so from liquid, the reaction is reversed, then the energy term positive will become negative, and where the negative, that will become positive. In this phase change from solid to liquid, and the energy is required, the del H value are always positive. Next come to an important part, that is Hess law of constant heat summation. So what is this law? So this law is put forward by G.F. Hess in 1814. So according to him, he states that the enthalpy change during any physical process or in any chemical reaction, it remains same whether this reaction takes place in one step or several multiple steps. So the enthalpy change during a chemical reaction remains same or constant whether the reaction takes place either in one step or in several multiple steps. Suppose a reactant is A and this changes to another product D, and the enthalpy change, suppose here del H. Directly A changes to D through enthalpy change, suppose del H, and again A can be converted to D through intermediate steps. Suppose A first changes to B, then B then changes to C, then C then changes to D. In this way, it may take place indirectly through multiple steps. Either A reacts directly to form D, direct step reaction, or it may take place in multiple steps. That is, through and the enthalpy changes. Suppose here del H1 and here del H2 and here del H3. Then according to Hess law, this del H that should be equal to del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3. Okay, so the enthalpy change during a chemical reaction or in physical process remains same whether it takes place directly in one step or several multiple steps. Let us think that these are not equal. So if this del H is not equal to del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3, then two cases are there. Either del H greater than the sum del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3, or this del H less than del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3. Okay, so two cases may appear. Let del H greater than this one. Okay, so from this figure is same. Let del H greater than del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3. Okay, so suppose A first goes from D, suppose A first goes to D through del H. The enthalpy change is del H, and again D changes to A through C and B. So first thing, A to B it can be changes, that is B and C. Similarly, if the A goes to D, and the amount of heat produced, suppose here del H, amount of heat produced, suppose here del H, and A to D, suppose the heat produced at del H1, del H2, del H3, then when it goes from D to A, what happens? Then del H3, del H2 and del H1 amount of heat is absorbed. A to D produced and D to A, that is that amount of energy is absorbed. So this amount of energy is absorbed. That means one cyclic, when you consider about a one cycle of this from A to D, this is del H amount of heat is produced, and from D to A, del H3 plus del H2 plus del H1 amount of heat is absorbed. Then if del H is greater than this much, then some amount of heat extra will be produced. Then the amount of heat produced is del H minus del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3. Okay. So what is this? This amount of energy is produced. And suppose this cycle repeats several times. Then what happens? If it repeats one time, then this much of amount is produced. If this cycle repeats then several times, then what happens? This amount of heat, large amount of heat is produced. So large amount of heat is produced without consuming any energy, without doing any work done, because you know cyclic process the work done is zero. So without doing any work, large amount of heat is produced. So in this way, this is contrary to first law of thermodynamics. That means this is impossible. And from here we concluded that del H must be equal to del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3. Okay. Then one simple example. Look here, carbon solid plus carbon solid plus O2 gas give rise to CO2 gas, and here the del H change is minus 393.5 kilojoule. Okay. Similarly, when this carbon solid, first this is the digestate, first reacts with oxygen, it gives carbon monoxide, and in this case del H change is minus 283.5 to 83.5 kilojoule of what? So kilojoule of heat. And again when CO gas plus half O2 give rise to CO2 gas, in this case del H is minus 110, it is 83.0 kilojoule minus 110.5 kilojoule of heat is there. This is the step 1. This is the first method, and this is the step. This is the first step. This is the second step. This is path A, and this is for path B. Path B, 2 steps are there. And when we add this, then what happens? Carbon solid, again CO cancels, half O2, O2 gas give rise to, when you add these two, again the energy is minus 393.5 kilojoule of energy. So the enthalpy change in the direct step is same as it takes place in several steps. Okay. So this is helpful to calculate, this law is helpful to calculate the enthalpies of reaction. It is helpful to add, subtract the different thermochemical equations, and it is helpful to determine what is the enthalpy of hydration, what is the enthalpy of transition, what is the enthalpy of formation of different elements which are directly cannot be synthesized in laboratory from their elements. So in this way it is helpful to determine the enthalpy of formation, enthalpy of transition, enthalpy of hydration, etc. So different types of enthalpies can be determined by adding or subtracting or multiplying the equations. Okay. So in this way this is useful to calculate the enthalpy changes in various thermochemical equations. So this is Hess's law. Okay. Now note down Hess's law, and after that we will discuss some problems. So note down first. This law states that the enthalpy change during a chemical reaction remains same whether the reaction takes place directly in one step or several multiple steps. This is a consequence of first law of thermodynamics, or it also states that the enthalpy change is a state function, it is independent of path. So it is path independent. So consider a reactant A is converted into the product D in one step. That is the step 1, accompanied by heat change del H. And alternatively, A is converted to D through 2, 3, 4 with enthalpy changes del H1, del H2 and del H3. Then according to Hess law, del H must be equal to del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3. So if del H is less than del H, not equal to del H1 and del H2 plus del H3, then del H may be greater than del H1, del H2, del H3, or del H may be less than del H1 plus del H2 and del H3. Let del H greater than this one. So when A changes to D in step 1, A changes to D in step 1 with energy change del H, and again that amount of heat produces del H. On the other hand, when D changes to, so here is B is there, C is there, and B, this is step 2, this is step 3, and this is step 4. And D changes to A through C, D through step 4, 3, and 2 and 2. And here the enthalpy changes del H1, del H2 and del H3. Then this amount of heat is absorbed here. Then the amount of heat absorbed in the step del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3. So the net amount of heat produced. That means if del H is greater, then some amount of heat is produced. So del H minus del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3 after completing one cycle. Similarly, if this cycle repeated so many times, then in each step some amount of heat is produced. In several times, if it is repeated, then large amount of heat is produced without doing any external work, which is impossible, which is against the first law of thermodynamics. Hence, del H must be equal to del H1 plus del H2 plus del H3. Now look at some examples and its applications. So, one example, suppose the formation of carbon dioxide. So, carbon dioxide can be synthesized directly by heating carbon with oxygen. So, CO2 had del H is minus 393.5 kilojoule. Similarly, by burning carbon with oxygen. And this can also indirectly prepared from carbon. So, carbon first undergo oxidation with incomplete oxidation to form carbon monoxide. In this case, del H1 equal to minus 0.5 kilojoule. And again, when carbon monoxide undergo oxidation, it forms carbon dioxide. Here the del H2 is minus 283.0 kilojoule. Now, from this it is clear that when you add these two equations, carbon solid and O2 give rise to minus 393.5 kilojoule. So from that is concluded that del H is equal to del H1 plus del H2. Then what are the applications? So in this it is applicable by any thermochemical equation by addition, subtraction or by multiplication. We can determine what is the heat of a reaction. Different types of enthalpy of reaction can be determined. It is also helpful to determine the enthalpy of formation of those elements which cannot be directly synthesized from their elements. For example, HCl can be prepared directly combined with hydrogen and chlorine in presence of sunlight, but ethyl alcohol cannot be prepared from carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Benzene cannot be prepared by taking 6 carbon and 6 hydrogen atom. Methane cannot, so in this way 6 carbon and 6 hydrogen atoms. So those elements which directly cannot be synthesized directly by combining them, the enthalpy of formation for those elements, it is helpful to determine the enthalpy of formation of those elements. And it is also helpful to determine the enthalpy of transition, one allotropic form to another, the enthalpy of combustion, the enthalpy of hydration. What are the different types of enthalpies of reaction to determine the Hess law is applicable. Okay, so now let us solve some problems so that it is more clear. So let us solve one problem. Calculate the enthalpy of formation of ethanol from the following data. So here the enthalpy of formation is given: carbon, oxygen, CO2, or you can see the enthalpy of combustion also. This is the enthalpy of combustion of carbon or enthalpy of formation of carbon dioxide. This is the enthalpy of formation of water or enthalpy of combustion of hydrogen. Because 1 mole of water formed, 1 mole of carbon dioxide formed. In this way, you can say enthalpy of formation of carbon dioxide, enthalpy of formation of water, or the enthalpy of combustion of carbon and enthalpy of combustion of hydrogen is given. And here also the enthalpy of combustion of ethanol given. So for all total, for uniformity, I can say enthalpy of combustion are given: carbon, hydrogen, ethanol. So first you have to write down what is the equation for the enthalpy of formation. So three equations are given. First give them equation number 1, 2 and 3. I am writing here. This is equation number 1, this is equation number 2 and this is equation number 3. Okay. So next, calculate the enthalpy of formation of ethanol. And you know ethanol, what is the formula? That is C2H5OH. It contains 2 carbon, 6 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, all total. So what are the elements present? How many numbers present? From that you write down what is the enthalpy of formation of ethanol first. So the equation for enthalpy of formation of ethanol. So it contains 2 carbon, 2C, a carbon exists as solid form. In this way write solid. And hydrogen 5 plus 1, that is 6, and hydrogen exists as H2. So the 6H means that is 3H2. Then 3H2 gas. And oxygen, 1 oxygen atom is present, but oxygen exists as O2. In this way you have to write half O2 gas. 2C, 3H2 gas, half O2 gas give rise to C2H5OH liquid. So suppose this equation is equation number 4. Okay. Next. So this is equation 4. You know the enthalpy change during chemical reactions remains same whether this reaction carried out in one step or in several multiple steps. So in this way, how this equation you have to bring out this equation in terms of equation 1, 2, 3. Either you subtract, multiply, add or any way. So you have to by these 3 equations you have to take this equation. You have to find this equation. How you can find it? Look here, 2C is there. So multiply this equation 1 by 2 and 3H2 and multiply equation 2 by 3. Multiplying and adding them. Now adding okay. So multiply equation 1 by 2, equation 2 by 3, then add them, and from that you subtract this equation 3, so that you can find out the equation 4 here. Look here. So multiplying equation 2, now equation 1 into 2 plus equation 2 into 3. What we get? That I am writing here. So 2C plus 2O2 give rise to 2CO2. This is solid form, gaseous form, and energy also, you know, if the equation is multiplied, then the energy change is also becomes double. That is here del H is 2 into minus 393.5. And suppose this is del H 1 is there. And now this equation plus. So plus in all cases. And now equation 2 into 3. So equation 2 into 3 means 3H2 gas. plus 3 by 2 O2 gas give rise to 3 H2O liquid. And here del H2, that is given, is 3 into minus 286.0 kilojoule mole inverse is there. And now equation 1 into 2, equation 2 into 3, and subtract from it this equation 3 minus equation 3. So minus equation 3. So first add these two. Okay. So how much we get? We get, that is, look here, 2CS, 3H2 gas, 2O2 and 3O2. So 3 by 2 O2, 2 into 2, 4. It is 7 by 2 O2. 7 by 2 O2 give rise to 2 CO2, 3 H2O. So this energy term you add. Okay. So delta H1 and delta H2. Now it is given minus, subtract minus this. So minus C2H5OH liquid plus 3O2 gas give rise to 2 CO2 plus 3 H2O. 3 H2O. In this way, so minus here, minus here, minus here, minus here. So this minus minus cancel, minus minus, minus 2 CO2 plus 2 CO2 minus 2 CO2 plus 3 H2 minus 3 H2, this cancels, and this also cancels. So in this way, 2CS, 3 H2O, 7 by O2. So now, if this equation comes to this side, then what we get? Look here, we get 2CS plus 3H2, 7 by 2 minus 3. So 7 by 2 minus 3. It is half plus half O2. Okay. So half O2 gas, this is gas, half O2 gas give rise to C2H5OH liquid. So in this side minus means when it comes this side it will become positive. So now this equation we get, that is your equation 4. The required equation 4 we get. Okay. So in this way, this energy term also you add these two and subtract here. From this you subtract this much. That is, so the energy term is 2 into minus 390.5 plus 3 into minus 286 minus, and minus minus it becomes plus 1365. So here no multiplication of any term, just that is all total. This is kilojoule mole inverse, and we find this value is minus 270.73 kilojoule mole inverse. So in this way you can solve this type of problem. Okay. So if you have any doubt, then we will discuss. Okay, we will discuss some problems regarding this Hess law in next class. So for today, up to this. So note down this.